Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers out there pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, to the foreigners of the world. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, I just want to do a quick lesson on this article, which is entitled "The Elite's Plan to Orchestrate Famines." Now, this article is tied into what's going on in Europe, and pretty much under the narrative of global warming, they want to cut nitrogen emissions, and they, the whole thing is that nitrogen. The bulk of nitrogen emissions are done through famine. So they have this bright idea, okay, to to get rid of all these farmers, which is like the stupidest thing ever. You're trying to save people from and the planet or the people, but then you want to mess with the food, which is responsible for the sustenance of every single person on the planet. What a bright idea that is. But let's just get into it, and then let's find out what their plans are. Okay, so it says the elites plan to orchestrate famines. All right, so reading it says there is a war on food, an absolute necessity of life. This seems like a ridiculously counterintuitive thing to do, but there you go. Now, why is food suddenly a bad thing? It says easy peasy, farming uses nitrogen, and nitrogen is being blamed for global warming. So of course it must be eliminated. And in the name of saving the planet, huge swaths of global food productions are being targeted. I'm going to get into how they're being targeted, and we're going to find out that the people are not so keen. All right, they don't take they're not very fond of this bright idea that the EU they're coming up with. So there are some protests going on in which farmers drive up their tractors, okay, in front of the officials and to protest. We're gonna get into all that. This is happening in Netherlands. All right, we're gonna bring up all these things, and yeah. But keep reading. I'm not gonna read everything. I am gonna put the links in the description. Although, if by the time this video comes out, if because they have a strike on my channel, too, I can't post any links in the description. But it's whatever. It's just try to pause the video and look at the link, and or just write the title of the article in Google search, but put it in quotations, and it's gonna pop, and it's gonna bring out these articles. It's gonna bring out this article. Okay, let's try that right now. Let's prove that. Oh, yep. Oh. Yep, there it is. The reason it looks different now is because I have mine in a reader format. This is the feature that Safari uses. So we have it in reader format, then boom. Okay. So, but if you have any other kind of devices, it looks like this. Okay. So, all right. So let's get back to it. So it says it says rice is to be blamed for about 10% of global emissions of methane, a gas that over 2 decades traps about 80 times as much heat as carbon dioxide, right? Intones at the AP. Scientists say that if the world wants to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, rice cannot be ignored. Right? It says, who cares if half the global population depends on rice for food? Let them die. Okay, this is just, sarcastically speaking. But it's just, this is what they imagine the elites are saying based on their plans for, the world. But of course, I'm not going to read everything, like I said, so I'm just going to jump down to the the important parts. So it says, the World Economic Forum is very clear on its desires for a farm-free future. What is in store for humanity? If the World Economic Forum, the WEF, and other looms have their way, is to have our food grown in labs away from the control of the people. And that's what they do, because you're going to find out that their plans is not just to get rid of farming, it's to buy them up and have them control it. Okay? They're trying to be slick and control the food and have the average man depend on them for their sustenance. But people are dumb, but not everybody's gonna, it's not gonna be as easy as they think it is. People are gonna fight back. And so you see how when you read the scriptures, it talks about how there shall be insurrection and how people shall not regard their kings or their kings or princes. This is one of the reasons that's gonna spark that conflict. Right now there's distrust, right? There's this how do I put it? There's just bad, there's this static in the air between the people and the officials, those who rule the land. But when you read prophetic scriptures where it says there shall be a time where they shall not regard their kings or princes, and there shall be insurrections and civil wars, and when you read the scriptures, they'll talk about how there's going to be famines. Prophecy is not something, it doesn't happen in a sense of where everything is good and then all of a sudden it overwhelms you. But prophetic scriptures are fulfilled because of small events, little things like this that seem insignificant. It seems to not, directly bother you, so you look over it. But it is little things like this that's easily missed. That's what prophecy is. It's little events like this, and then another event just like that happens to it. So while you're not paying attention to this, or while you don't care about this existing conflict, another conflict adds upon it. And then before you realize it, you are caught up in the middle of this. You're caught up in the middle of all these events that are not too, are not, beneficial for you. Okay, so this is pretty much how prophecy is fulfilled. When you talk about, for example, the prophecy about the Babylonians, coming into the land of Judah, it wasn't something that was very sudden. But you would see, if you wanted to know whether or not the prophecy will come to pass, you would see that Babylon is creating an empire. They're taking down they're fighting against Egypt. They're taking down they are fighting against the regions. I was thinking of Persia. I was going to say Egypt, Lydia, and Babylon. But the prophecy, like the completion of prophecy, is not completely, how do I put it? It's not altogether clueless. Okay, if you are a person who is keen, right, and you pay attention to all the little details around you, you would see prophecy before it actually sneaks up on you. Which is another reason why Yahushua told us to watch and therefore pray, so that the second coming, so that when he comes back, that day or the day of the Lord, that terrible days, does not sneak up upon us, right? When we do the way we work out our salvation is by what? By keeping watch, by doing the best of our abilities, right? In moments that seems insignificant. Little things like this, the average person does not pay mind to it. They may hear about it, but they don't care. But for a man in the truth, right, who wants to be fully rooted in this truth and have complete faith in prophecy, you have to be paying attention to little things like this for it to come to pass. And that is the point that I'm trying to make. Prophecy is little events, and then before you realize, all these events have created a big scenario around you. But it won't sneak upon you unless you pay attention to these little details. Okay? And I keep saying this, which is why I never understand people who come into this truth and for a while they leave. And I'm like, everything that's written off in the prophecy, we're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. These events like this are eventually gonna lead to the prophecy being fulfilled. So why do you come around and say, oh, this truth is getting whack? Oh, why is the Most High not doing anything? We've been waiting for the Most High to do something, but he's not doing shit. It's because you're not watching, dumbass. It's happening around you. The Most High, the scripture says that what? Woe unto you who says that the Most High neither do good or evil. You accuse the Most High of being idle, but he's never idle. It's you. It's your laziness, all right? Your ignorance that makes you that makes you to think that what prophecy is not come to pass, or that the Bible is without effect. So let us not be one of these people who falsely accuse the Most High of being idle, man. It says, and the people will be forced to exit. So like it says, is to have our food grown in labs away from the control of the people. So this is what they're doing, okay? And it's things like this, like I said, that's going to lead to the insurrection, the civil war, a neighbor breaking into his neighbor's house for lack of bread, okay? It's going to lead to the enemy coming in as a flood, when the FEMA troops comes in, when there's troops right outside your door. All it's little events like this that's gonna have all these prophetic scriptures, right? It's gonna have all these prophecies that's written in the scriptures be made manifest, and then you're gonna be caught up in it because you were not prepared for it. All right. It says so. Let's see. It says, and the people will be forced to exit nature. In other words, they're gonna kill off the people, so it can rewild itself without us. In short, they want all humans to live in dense urban environments, eating, manufacturing lab, and they want to control the population, right? They have them living in, the little ass apartments. They look at right now what's going on in housing markets. It's impossible to own a house right now. So everybody's living in apartments, and the apartments keep getting smaller and smaller and more expensive. So you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna get an apartment and then I'm gonna save up for a house, only to find out that they jacked up the price so high that after you pay all your bills, your rent, you have nothing. The only money that's left is for you to put gas in your car and go right back to work and do the same bullshit again. You're caught up in like a loop. Hey, people back then, you have an 18-year-old, he leaves the house. It was a thing for a child once he reaches 18 to actually be able to go out and make life for himself. But now you could be 30 years old, sometimes even 40, and you still can't even make it on your own, because that's how the freaking system is. Things are it's way harder for you to be independent now than it was back then, and it's all because of little things like this that are being put in place and that people are ignorant of. So it says, so they want all humans to live in dense urban environments, eating manufactured lab foods. They have this thing where the milk from rats or something like that. It's some stupid shit going. So like some crazy stuff going on, man. They want I believe it's the milk from roaches or the meat from roach. I don't know what these people are trying to do, but pretty much everybody's gonna be eating insects, roaches, worms. You're gonna be sitting there, yo, how did this happen? It says add digital currency into the mix, and that's what they're gonna be doing with the MOTB, and the stage is set for total ultimate control. That's right. Let me see. It says we live in an age of manufactured crisis, and it's not enough to complain about racism or sexism or inflation or immigration or food shortages. No, the elite manufacture these crises where none existed before. They teach children to hate each other based on skin color. They destroy any strides women have made in the last few decades. They create shortages and increases the money supply, right? They throw open borders willy-nilly, and they close farms or start wars or declare certain foods to be evil so as to create food shortages. Oh, and then they stifle and punish anyone's attempt to point out the obvious by attacking free speech as misinformation. And brothers who've been doing their videos, you know what they've been doing to the channels. You do something little, they'll strike you. They say misinformation, oh, medical misinformation. Strike your channel real quick, cut it off, and it take down all your videos. It says, I think Cloward and Piven had something to say about these tactics. It's, in other words, manufacture a crisis, then implement draconian responses to that crisis. Now the entire global food supply is put at risk from the disastrous responses to the so-called nitrogen crisis. Don't blame me. Don't believe me. So like, ask the people of Sri Lanka how things are going. Nitrogen is a vital component of plant metabolism, which is obtained from the soil. It says, note this article, at last, there is not enough nitrogen in the soil to grow plants at the scale needed to feed global population. Before the arrival of commercial nitrogen fertilizers, famine was a frequent feature of the unreliable food supply across parts of the world. Without the fertilizer, famine will resume its gruesome role, something mainstream net zero politicians have to address in the near future. Virtue signaling, green delusions about rewilding, bug diets, and organic farming will not feed the world, probably not even a quarter of it. It says, in other words, the elites are poised to orchestrate famine in the near future by forcibly reducing the food supply through this nitrogen crisis. All right. Let's see. Okay, so they have this plan. All right. Let me see. So, in the plan is this: European Union partners with the Dutch government to shut down dairy, cattle, pig, and poultry farms across the country. All right. So it says the climate. Oh, what the hell? I thought I. Let me see any ads. It says the climate shutdowns are here. The European Union is partnering with the Dutch government to permanently shut down dairy, cattle, pig, and poultry farms across the Netherlands. Just a year ago, the Dutch government announced a plan to reduce nitrogen emissions across the country by more than 50% by 2030. On May 2nd, the European Commission approved a plan that will pay livestock farmers to shut down indefinitely in designated conservation areas if they agree to never start the same breeding activities elsewhere. Okay, this is the EU's environmental regulations are a threat to basic economic freedoms, and the repercussions will impact human rights and the food supply itself. So, there's more on that, and I hope to be able to, paste that. But if not, brothers, like I said, just copy and paste the title, all right, in quotations. And then it goes on article about, why the Dutch farmers are protesting, and it's because of the same plans that they are doing right now. All right, it says farmers protested around the Netherlands as lawmakers voted Tuesday on proposals to slash emissions of damaging pollutants, a plan that will likely force farmers to cut their livestock herds or stop working altogether. The government says emission of nitrogen oxide and ammonia, which livestock produce, must be drastically reduced close to nature areas that are part of a network of protected habitats for endangered plants, wildlife stretching across the 27-nation European Union. As tractors gathered outside the Parliament's building, Prime Minister Mark Rutte said farmers have the right to protest, but not to break the law. Freedom of speech and right to demonstrate are a vital part of our democratic society, and I will always defend them. But it is not acceptable to create dangerous situations. It is not acceptable to intimidate officials. We will never accept that. How is it intimidating? They drove their tractors, you know. What's intimidated about this? Hey, but yeah, that's what's going on. Famine will hit. Okay, you better believe that. All right, just because a grocery store is open doesn't mean you're safe. A time is coming where it's not going to be open. It's not going to be full. It's going to be empty because the places where they get these food from are being attacked. All right, so hey, with that, I hope edification goes out to the brothers that are listening. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shah Brakatham. To the few aquas that are also listening in truth and sincerity, I also want to say shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shah Brakatham. May the blessing of relation be upon the house, and may Yahweh Bashim Shai speedily, bring down this place, so that the kingdom may be established. So with that, I'm gonna end right there. Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Shah Brakatham.